and today I'm going to talk to you about my works in progress and my finished objects this week. So a lot more WIPs this week than finished objects because last week I had a bunch of finished objects and then I started a bunch of projects. Like I think I started 8 projects in one day last Sunday, and I just kind of have project zoomies right now because I'm in the process of filming a bunch of tutorials, so that I get stuck at a certain point because I want to film the next step, and then I kind of get distracted because I'll start another project and I'll just work on that one until I get stuck on that one, and then I keep going but I never really go back. So a lot of WIPs this week. So the first project I have for you, and this is a finished project, is the Drop the Game sweater, and this is part of my summer drop part 2. So I named it after that Flume song, Drop the Game, because it has drop stitches, haha. And I was super productive this time, or proactive, I don't know if that's the right word. And I have all the Ravelry pages for the projects for my summer drop part 2 up. And normally I procrastinate like crazy on those because I hate uploading to Ravelry. It takes forever. But I was really good about it this time, and I got all those projects up, and I named all the sweaters, and normally it's just like V-neck sweater for a while, but then I figured out the names for everything, and I'm very proud of myself for that because that's something that I really procrastinate on. Anyways, so this is made in 1 strand of DK yarn and 2 strands of Suri. So it's in the colorway Catnip, and the yarn dyer is Machette Shoppe, and that's Shoppe with the PPE at the end. And so it's 1 strand of DK from them and 1 strand of Suri from them, and then 1 strand of Suri that's just plain. And I really love how it turned out. It's in the colorway Catnip. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I started out with just holding the DK and the Suri in Catnip together, and then I was like, let's add some more fluff to it. So then I found some undyed Suri that I had, and I have 20 skeins of this plain Suri, and maybe I'll try yarn dyeing this summer because I have some dyes and I have a bunch of blank yarn, and I have a lot of time, and I really want to try it because I really want to make, I just have all these ideas of yarns that I want, and so I go through the internet and I try to find everything, but maybe it's time for me to just try making my own yarn. Or not. I already have enough hobbies, but I also have a ton of time this summer. Anyways, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I was debating whether or not to shorten the plain stitching in between the drop stitches, because again, it is my pattern and I'm kind of tweaking it, and it's in the process of test knitting right now, and I think my testers are pretty happy with how it's working so far, but I'm thinking about it. But yeah, very happy with how this turned out. It flew off my needles because I just kept on looking at the project in the light and I was like, wow, this colorway is so pretty. And now I might just have to go through and buy all that really, really, really pretty DK that I've been eyeing from all these different hand dyers because I'm pretty comfortable using it now. And this only took 2 skeins of the DK. It took 2 skeins of the DK, about 1 and a bit of the Suri, and for some reason it only took 1 skein of the plain Suri that I had. I don't really know what's going on with the yardage, and I can't remember if I accidentally used some of the hand dyed Suri already, so that's why it had less yardage. But DK goes pretty far. Okay, next I have another Drop the Game sweater, and this time I made it in an extra small, and it's in Wool in the Gang, Take Care Mohair, and Lime Sorbet, and I love Take Care Mohair. I think it's really soft and really easy to work with because I was actually just working with 4 strands of regular mohair held together to get a similar chunkiness, and I do love how it's turning out, but it's a lot harder to work with because it doesn't have as much stretch. It's a lot more slippery, it's just harder to work with. It takes a little bit more concentration to make sure that the yarn stays on the needles and you don't drop stitches, and then trying to pick up drop stitches when working with that much mohair is kind of a nightmare. But anyways, love this yarn. I was in the process of filming a works in progress, or sweater in progress, I guess, reel for this one. So I was oh, first do the body, then do one sleeve, and then do the other sleeve. But then I was working on that on campus, so then the background that I was using is completely inaccessible to me now because that was in my old dorm. So now I might just finish this and just be cool, I finished this. And I literally only have 1 sleeve. And I timed myself yesterday, and it took me about an hour and a half to do 1 of these sleeves. So I don't have that much of this project left, and I don't know why it's been taking me so long to finish it. So I found it, unburied it from all like my pile of knits, and I was like, I'm gonna finish this. So hopefully by next week I can show this to you. Okay, now I have a chunky game set match cardigan for you. And this is in Malabrigo Rasta in the colorway Lettuce, which again, I consider more to be a pickle. And I'm in the process of filming a tutorial for this one, so that's why it's taking me so long. But I distinctly remember that I was knitting this sleeve while also editing my 2022 make so far. So I was like knitting, waiting for things to process, editing a little, then going back to knitting. And then at the same time, I was also watching Rambo First Blood Part 2. So I have no idea what happened in that movie. I have to rewatch it because I was just not paying attention. Like my face was not facing that screen at all. But I like to watch movies while I edit. So yeah, I'm running out of movies to watch this summer. Well, there's a bunch of movies that I want to watch, but like I'm running out of like the obvious movies. Like I'm just kind of along for the ride with Netflix at this point. Like when Netflix recommends a new movie, I'm like, bet, let's watch it. Like I don't even really like stop to think about it. I'm like, what else am I gonna watch? So keep that in mind for what I'm doing this summer. Like I watch a lot of movies while knitting. So I have 2 sleeves left, I guess. So this will take some time, maybe like 3 more hours of working on this one, but I am filming the process, so I am being slowed down by that. Next, I have this flip side top for you, another work in progress, and I have this panel and about half of the other panel done, so it's getting close, but I am in the process of filming this one too, so I'm being slowed down. But this texture I'm in love with. It's garter stitch, but I am holding 2 strands of slub yarn in the colorway Wolpertiger. I don't know how you pronounce it. I looked it up once and I was like, oh, it's a mythical like bunny type creature. I don't know, but I love the colorway. And it's held with 1 strand of melted baby Suri, and they're both from Qing Fibre, and they're both in the same color, like Wolpertiger or whatever it's called. So this started my slub yarn obsession, and after I started this, I was like, I need more, I need more. So I've been kind of going through all of the different hand-dyed yarns and just like trying to find all their slubs. And slub isn't a very popular base. I think it's super underrated because it gives like really lovely texture. I think it's a little bit muted in this top, maybe because it is held double, and I think that I would, if anything, I need bigger needles to really show off the texture of this. But I really love it. I think it's really great with garter stitch, and so I'm really excited that this top is going to be one of my patterns because I think garter stitch is underrated, and I'm really excited to kind of bring that to knitters more. Not that they didn't know about garter stitch, but maybe just to incentivize them to knit more with it. And I'm actually thinking about making a matching cardigan for this top because why not? Like if you're gonna knit a cardigan, it's gonna be like knit flat, so you might as well just make it all garter stitch just to make it more relaxing for yourself. However, that means that I would have to make it so that you seam the sleeves because there's no way I'm making anybody like purl in the round just to make garter stitch. Some patterns do that, but like I'd rather just make people seam the sleeves than have them do like knit in the round, purl in the round, knit in the round, purl in the round, just to like simulate garter stitch in the round. I have a drop it like it's hot cardigan for you, and this is my second one of this pattern, so I'm just like making sure that all my instructions make sense. And I'm maybe halfway through the bottom, so I'm not very far on this one, but I love the yarn that this is made in. I like posted a poll on my Instagram story, and I was like, should I make like the Let's Groove sweater, or should I make the drop it like it's hot cardigan in this yarn? And people chose drop it like it's hot, and I was like, you know what, that's a good choice. So this is in Juniper Moon Farm Beatrix, and the colorway is gold. I don't think this is gold. I think it's more of like an orange, but I think it's so, so pretty. So it's kind of like the Knit Picks Wonderfluff and the Wool in the Gang Feeling Good yarn, like chainette construction. I think, again, I should probably look up if that's actually what it's called, but it's a little bit thicker than both of them because it's 50 grams per 100 meters, and it's so, 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 so soft. And it's 54% merino and 30% angora and 16% nylon. But yeah, I love it. I bought a bunch of it from a yarn store in Half Moon Bay. I can't remember what it's called, but that was a fun day. I went tide pooling, and then I also like went to a yarn store. So that was a great day. But yeah, really excited to finish this. I think I'll have enough to actually make a top with this one. So I started the second one because I was like, I have enough yarn for the cardigan and a top for sure, because I don't have to hold it double. Because last week I have that blue pistachio green version of the Drop It Like a Hot cardigan, but I don't know if I have enough yarn to make a top. So I was thinking I was gonna make a top and then see how much yardage I need for that before I even try to make the top in the other yarn with whatever I have left, because I hate playing yarn chicken. And I'm actually like this close to just ordering more of Sandus Garden Coast in pistachio just to make sure that I don't run out of yarn for the top, because I hate playing yarn chicken. Now I have this teeny tiny little top that I made for myself, and I made this yesterday. And I started yesterday, and I made it yesterday, and I thought about it yesterday, and I'm just so excited about it because it's just super flattering. It's supposed to be like one of those baby doll type of tops where it's like a little bit more flowy at the bottom and like tighter at the top. So it's made in Loopy Mango, Mohair So Soft, and like lavender. And I don't know if this is like necessarily the right yarn for this, because I pictured it to be more fluffy, or sorry, not fluffy, flowy, and like a nice like kind of gauzy texture. And this mohair is just so chunky that it doesn't really have that gauzy texture as much, but I did it in this yarn because I wanted the top to not be see-through so that you could actually wear it like on its own. And I achieved that, but I don't know if I achieved the right like flowy texture, so I started a second one, and I'll show that to you in a second. Sorry, my dog is really barking right now, but I'm gonna write a pattern for this one, and I'm just really excited for it because I think that it's super flattering, and it's like a super chill construction, so look forward to that. Okay, now I have the second of this top, and again, I started this last night because I was really excited, and I think I achieved the gauzy texture with this one more. It's made in 4 strands of Ito yarn Sensai in pale blue, and I'm really happy that I'm finally using this yarn because it's been sitting in my stash for like 10 months. I bought it from Uncommon Threads, which is the yarn store that was near campus, and I was just like, I saw it, I fell in love, I bought it, was too scared to use it. So then I was finally like, well, why don't I just use this yarn, because I wanted to make it in 4 strands, because I don't think I've really worked with 4 strands of mohair held together, and it is tricky. And I was like, I don't really want to skein up anything because I have a bunch of mohair in my stash, but they're all like in the, oh god, what are they called? They're not wound up, so I'd have to like wind them up before I use them, and then like winding up mohair takes so long because there's so much meterage and you can't just stop midway through. So these little like bites of mohair were perfect for that because I had 4 and I wanted to hold 4 strands of yarn together. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this one because again, the texture is great. You will have to wear something underneath it because it's very see-through, but I'm really excited for this baby doll top. Next, I have another chunky game set match cardigan for you, but this one's actually done. So this one had actually been sitting on my floor for like months and months and months, and I don't really know why. I think I started this back in March. And then I finished the body pretty quickly, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do the sleeves for a while. Don't know why. It's in Malabrigo Rasta in the colorway Apple Green, which is by far my favorite yarn because nobody else makes a color like this, and it's super washed, and it's really soft, and it's just super saturated and really lovely. And so whenever I go to a yarn store, like if they have anything in chartreuse, like I automatically make a beeline for it because I just love chartreuse. Yeah, but really happy with how this turned out. Really glad I finally finished it. And I don't know if you saw my reel or my post recently, but like I paired it with my apple green Ready Set Go skirt, which is in 2 strands of worsted held together to make like a bulky weight pattern. So they're all, it's not technically the same weight as this yarn, but like it blends together really well because they are both from Malabrigo and they're both in apple green. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out because that full like knit outfit was the knit outfit of my dreams. Now I have a cardigan for you, and it's gonna be a Surreal cardigan. So I have a Surreal pattern for the Surreal sweater, which is a mix of Suri yarn and bulky yarn to kind of ground it. So this is wool in the gang, alpacino merino, and ivory white at the bottom, and Qing fiber, Wolpertiger in the slub yarn, which I think is called Pearl, and melted baby Suri. And I think you can actually see the texture of the slub yarn a little bit better on this one because it's knit on bigger needles. and I'm really excited with this is how this is going to turn out. I started it and then kind of got distracted and started working on other things, but I don't think that the wrong side of this is also really pretty. So I'm thinking it could be like a cool cardigan in reverse. But yeah, this is just really pretty. And I think it'll go really well with the top that I'm working with too, if you wear it inside out, or even if you don't. But I think it's better if you wear it inside out because the textures will be more similar. Like the pearl side will look better with the garter stitch. Now I have a finished Bennie top for you, and this is in Qing Fibre Melted Baby Suri in Cactus, held double. And I'm actually, oops, I don't know what that is, but I'm actually working on the cardigan for it too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even finish the row for this one. I just was like, ran out of yarn and was like, well, that's about it. So I'm in the process of making the matching cardigan for this one, and I'm excited to see how they look together, because it is like, I talked about it last week, where I think this is gonna be a little bit more of a modest set for me, because it's not as like teeny tiny cropped, but I love the way that this top fits. And this is my second, and I filmed a tutorial, so I just need to film that bit. But yeah, I have 3 skeins of the Cactus left, so hopefully that'll be enough. And if it's not, I guess it's gonna be a short sleeve set. And next, I don't actually have it to show you because it's in the process of blocking, so it's too wet for me to hold it up. And it's taking forever to dry, but I don't think I put it in the sun, so that's my fault. But I finished my second Valerie Vest, and I made it in Noro Kuryeon. And I made it in this yarn, and I have a bunch of it left over, so I'm thinking I'm gonna make a matching skirt if I can. I don't know, this yarn might be too thin to make the skirt, so it might be kind of see-through, which isn't really what I want. But I made a Valerie Vest in this yarn and some Cascade yarn Superwash 128 in that hot pink that I have. And it looks, I love it. I love how it turned out. And I was really surprised because, again, this is a 50 gram per 100 meter yarn, and I wrote that pattern for 100 grams per 100 meters. So I didn't expect it to work out, but then I swatched it and I was like, oh, I actually really like the texture of it. It's a little bit gauzier, or it's a little bit thinner, but it isn't see-through. So I really liked how the yarn turned out, or sorry, I really liked how the vest turned out with this yarn. And I actually ended up ordering a bunch more of this yarn because I'm really excited to work with it. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna make a matching skirt with this next. But I'll show you a picture of the finished vest that I took before I ended up blocking it, because this yarn isn't very soft, but I read on the internet that it's supposed to get softer after blocking. And I think this is my final piece for you today, but this is my second Let's Groove sweater. And so again, I'm in the process of filming this tutorial, and then I kind of just got distracted with other things. But I call it the Let's Groove sweater because it seems like a really groovy texture. Oh my gosh, is it coming off the needles? It's coming off the needles as I show you this to you. Oh my god, that's so stressful. I hate when that happens. But this is in 2 strands of Knit Picks Wonderfluff and the colorway Cosmopolitan. And I'm really excited to finish this one, if I can get it back on the needles. But I think I really love the texture of this sweater. It just takes a little bit of concentration to make sure you're doing the right texture, because I don't think I've actually really messed it up because I've been concentrating so hard on it. But I remember on my first one, I added an extra row somewhere and it just really, really bothered me. And like, it wasn't noticeable. Like I asked my friends, like, can you see the mistake? And they're like, what are you talking about? But they don't have the technical eye that I do at this point. But this one should whip up really quickly once I find the time to actually finish it. Oh my god, did I make a mistake? I think I made a mistake here, so I'm gonna have to unravel it. But you can see that the holes here align when they shouldn't. I'm gonna have to unravel it. And that is everything that I have to show you this week. I had a lot of WIPs and not as many FOs, but hopefully next week there'll be a lot of FOs rather than WIPs. But knowing me, I'll probably cast on like 8 more patterns or projects tomorrow, even though I haven't finished a lot of these ones yet. But it'll get done, and hopefully I'll have a lot to show you next week. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and happy knitting. See ya!